What unimpressive things are people idiotically proud of? Not eating any vegetables. Known a few people state it as if it's some kind of achievement, giving themselves constipation. Going into work while sick. Had a coworker who bragged on social media about having strep throat, but was still working because I values hard work. We were hairstylists. I avoided her afterwards, but came down with strep less than a week later. Risking the health of other people isn't a bragging right, edit, strep, not strept, edit 2. I would also like to add that if you're stuck at a job where you have no choice but to go in even when you're severely ill because your manager is a shithead. I get it. I've been in that situation and it sucks. However, working while you're ill and spreading a bacterial infection is not the wholesome, feel-good moment that my coworker thought it was, and she mocked other stylists when they called in sick. She took it to an extremely toxic level, and all because she wanted to impress a manager who forgot her name not even a month after she quit. Edit 3. Strep throat is a bacterial infection. I called it a virus earlier, my bad. I once had a coworker brag about how dark his pee is. My kidneys ain't been working right for 8 to 10 years bro, I am so dehydrated because water is for pussies. This is the kind of comment I was looking for. People use this thread to complain about normal stuff instead of commenting really weird unimpressive things. Why? Man needs to see a doctor, drinking more water is cheaper. Edit, I am from Europe and work in healthcare. Would like to confirm this. I had a liver infection and my urine was brown. Depends on how dark it is. If it's dark yellow, water will do just fine. If it's truly brown, you need a doctor ASAP or you could literally die. Edit. I'm surprised, but happy to see that so many people have read this comment today. If I could have picked one out of all of my comments to gain traction, this would have been at or very near the top of my list because the more people who know about rhabdo, the fewer will get extremely sick or die from it. Driving better when drunk. I've heard that ridiculous statement more times than I should. I'm so nervous when I'm drinking and driving, it makes me focus more, so I'm a better driver. I've heard that a number of times. That's the thing, drunk and drowsy driving, you may not be so impaired that you are swerving or losing control, but your reaction time is slower. You lose your ability to drive defensively. So if another car swerves towards you, you won't be able to dodge it in time. My ex had this mentality. He would tell me he wasn't that drunk, and then he would almost crash. I broke up with him when I realized sooner or later he was going to kill someone, and I didn't want it to be me. I'm the son of a father who did just that. Let me tell you, it's a crime generations of his family pay for. I'm an alpha, sure thing, big guy. You're so alpha you had to get a shirt that said it too? I've realized that when people do things better when they're drunk, not when they say they are, it usually means they're a high-functioning alcoholic. I was friends with a guy years ago that I didn't catch on right away to this, but years later realized. He would walk up the porch stairs and use the equipment, home farm/field type stuff, like he was drunk if we hadn't started drinking yet, but when he did, he could march up those stairs and use his equipment like it was nobody's business. Similar thing I witnessed with a completely different friend years after that. Hey, I'm the daughter of a dude who was killed by a drunk driver. He had a son around my age. The chances of him being you are slim, but I just want to say that I've thought of you over the years, prayed for you, and hoped for the best for you and your family. The situation was terrible, and I was mad at your dad for a long time, but I just wanted to say that I never had any animosity towards you or your family. It wasn't your fault, maybe you never blamed yourself or felt any guilt and you didn't need to hear this. But I needed to say it. I really hope you're doing well. Saying shit like, in a land of sheep I am the wolf. Sure thing, dude. I was at Disneyland and some guy had a shirt on about being a lion and everyone else was a sheep. Guy was being the biggest dick to the employees because they were enforcing safety rules. Like don't stand in the middle of the road when a tram is coming. A lion doesn't have to tell you it's a lion. If a lion tells you it's a lion, it's a lion. If a lion tells you it's a lion, you're high. Someone once bragged to me. Like thumbs and suspenders level bragging, his new girlfriend's dad owned a used car lot and he got an awesome interest rate on his new, to him, truck. His rate was 24%. His new girlfriend's dad doesn't like him very much. Correction. Her dad loved him. Cha-ching, plot twist, she's in on it. A week later she'll have another new boyfriend who will get another awesome interest rate on a new-to-them truck. And another fat commission to edit too. My top comment ever is about being set up by an ex. Is this why I can never hold a long-term relationship? I once got tricked by this beautiful blonde farmer girl who I thought might be the love of my life. Turns out her father was trying to get me to pay for half a tractor. On my paper salesman's salary it would have bankrupted me. I had a coworker who bragged about 13% on a car loan, because he couldn't understand that higher interest is bad when you owe money. He just heard higher interest is good for investments and couldn't wrap his head around the rest. He did not go far in life. I know people, grown-ass people in their late 20s, who will brag about passing out on their lawns because they couldn't make it from the car to the front door. Nothing surprises me more than when people are proud of their ignorance. Knowledge is no guarantee of wisdom, but prideful ignorance is proof of its absence. I used to know a girl who bragged that she knows everything she needs to know and she just ignored everything around her because she didn't need to know anything else. It was weird as hell. Like, she never kept up with the news and was astoundingly ignorant on anything historic. Like, she told me once the US wasn't part of World War II because it happened before the US existed as a country. Further questioning revealed she thought WW2 happened around 1800. That was even more confusing because the US existed in 1800. I gave up asking her questions after that. There is a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there has always been. The strain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life, nurtured by the false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. Asimov, a close relative, came to visit and saw a coloring page my first grade daughter made of Frida Kahlo in her art class at school. He laughed and said, "Who is this? Some dude, dressed up like a chick?" My daughter started to explain who Frida Kahlo is and the relative interrupted to rant about public schools are failing our kids by teaching them about weirdos that nobody has ever heard of. He was very proud of himself. I reassured my daughter the Frida Kahlo is indeed an amazing artist, and counted the minutes until the relative had to leave. I worked with a guy who, otherwise very smart, was extremely proud of the fact that he could remove the foil from the neck of a wine bottle without cutting it. He brought it up so many times I lost count. I just let him have it, though, because he seemed to need it.